Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. Today I've got a battle for you on Land of Fire, Domination Mode game, featuring the legendary tier German battleship Xarkun. And I know what some of you may be thinking. You may be thinking, Xarkun, you have featured this ship so many times. When are you ever going to stop? And the answer to that is never, but maybe rarely. I am never going to stop featuring this ship because I like it. And this is actually a fantastic game that I myself didn't play. That honor goes to Frosty 66_599, the star of the battle today. He sent this game in via my Discord server. If you want to join that, I will leave a link to it in the description, and I have a channel there where you can submit footage of battles to me for these types of community replay videos. Even if you don't want to submit anything, you might consider joining the Discord anyway. There is Frosty's first shot on an enemy Alaska, hitting him for a citadel and 19,000 damage total. Follow-up shot with the two rear turrets, not going to be quite so lucrative as the Alaska angles away, quite wisely on his part, but there is still another Alaska sailing around out there, and he does look like he's broadside. Frosty fires the front two turrets at the first Alaska and saves the rear two turrets for the second Alaska out there. Shot is out, and the dispersion is looking pretty tight with some nice shell groupings. Unfortunately, the shots bracket the Alaska, landing in front of and behind his ship. But Frosty is not deterred. As you can see, he is keeping a cool head here. He's being pretty chill, hanging out behind this little outcropping of rock. No pun intended there. But lately, as I have been playing the Xarkun, which I do every now and then, I have been trying to exercise more patience in this ship, particularly after seeing the results of this video. There's one thing that I know for certain about the Xarkun, and that is that it is clumsy and difficult to maneuver, and also really, really big. I've taken to calling it the Großer Schadenschwamm, which I'm probably butchering in terms of pronunciation, but I hope that means great damage sponge. That's what this ship is. See a lot of people rushing out in this ship and German battleships generally, whether it's the Bismarck, the Tirpitz, the Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst, the Odin, any of them. People tend to get caught up in this mindset that these are close-range, brawling battleships, which they absolutely are. But if you push out immediately and get focused by a lot of red ships, then I hate to tell you this, but you aren't going to be around for long. It doesn't matter if you have turtleback armor. It doesn't even matter if you've got Henry J. Hyde on your legendary German battleship and he gives you over 100,000 hit points. Doesn't matter. Those will evaporate very quickly under sustained focus fire from all of these high-tier ships here. So, patience is certainly a virtue, and Frosty's got it in spades. He's going to spend the next couple moments still hanging out here behind this island, preserving his hit points and dealing a respectable amount of damage to these two Alaskas, who are playing very fast and loose with their broadsides, content to expose them for as long as possible to a battleship armed with 12 16-inch guns. They may not be the most pinpoint accurate of any battleships, but there are 12 of them, and eventually they're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you hard. That Alaska goes down with a citadel, Frosty's first kill of the game. He's up to 73,000 damage done. Now, there is a Bismarck and a Xarkun out there Looks like the Bismarck is actually inside of the Charlie Cap, but it's clear that Frosty has spec'd into secondaries with his commander build. Look at those. They're reaching out 9 kilometers to hit that Bismarck. They are scoring some damaging hits on him too, and hopefully, if we're lucky, one of them will light a fire or two. Now, the situation for Frosty's team here, it's looking pretty dire. The enemy team is ahead by almost 300 points now, and they do have 2 cap circles under their control, although Bravo is being contested by some members of the blue team. Frosty's team has no caps, and therefore no source of points, and they are also behind on the ship count. Frosty, though, he is moving in. Now is the time to be aggressive. I find that the Grosse Kurfürst works best if you preserve your hit points for the beginning section of the match and try to deal damage at range. Then, once the herd of enemy ships is thinned out a little bit, you can move in and try to engage them at a closer brawling range. Ideally, they'll have lost some hit points and you will have an advantage there, and even if they haven't, you do have the robust German turtleback armor that should prevent you from being citadeled at close ranges, but not necessarily all the time. This enemy GK, who has a distinct hit points advantage over Frosty, is pushing forward, and Frosty looks like he's just content to wait here. Probably a good thing for him to do, considering there is an island to the right of his ship. You can see it there, and then there is an island further north of that, or further south. I'm not sure actually what direction it's in. In any case, there is a gap between the 2 islands, and in that gap lies the majority of the enemy team. If Frosty sails across it, he will probably be exposing his broadside to some ships he can't see. So taking care here is very careful. But the enemy GK is making his move, so Frosty is going to move in with his guns loaded. He fires at the GK, scores a citadel at close range, follows it up, nearly finishing off the German battleship. Can his secondaries do the job? No, ironically, it is the friendly Yamato's secondaries that take out the enemy Grosse Kurfürst, robbing Frosty of a well-earned close-quarters expert after that fantastic drive-by. Still, though, we have the Bismarck in front of us, and as I predicted, Frosty has sailed across this gap. There are enemy ships out there. One of them is a legendary battleship. They do have access to his broadside, so he definitely needs to continue moving forward here and put this other island to the right of his ship, hopefully blocking the enemy shots. That Bismarck takes a nasty hit from the friendly Yamato, and there is Frosty's second kill of the game with a close quarters expert, which I suppose makes up a little bit for the one that was stolen from him on that Grosse Kurfürst earlier. Frosty's pausing for a moment. He wants to secure this cap. Good thing, since his team has none, although time is dwindling here. Broadside Yamato peeking out from behind the corner of that island. Frosty did fire a salvo. It did connect, but it didn't do too much damage, which is unfortunate, and that is the moral of the story with the GK, I suppose. It does seem to have guns more accurate than most German battleships in the game, but they're still German battleship guns, so they don't always hit right where you want them to, and it just becomes more of a waiting game. Again, patience is a virtue with this ship. Frosty has secured the Charlie cap for his team. It's a solo cap, too, which should be worth a nice amount of XP. It's the only cap his team actually has, and how ironic that it was taken by the largest and probably most visible battleship in the entire game. What's this, though? A Fletcher behind the island. Surely he wouldn't come out and do anything suicidal, right? Not with a Grossekurfürst 4 kilometers away from him. Well, of course he's going to do it. So Frosty pops that secondary booster and very cheekily does not even fire his main guns at the Fletcher. The secondaries are more than enough to finish off the enemy team's last remaining destroyer. Not their only one. They started this game off with 2, but now they have none. Frosty's team still does enjoy the advantage of having a friendly destroyer, and it looks like that friendly destroyer is in the Alpha Cap with an enemy battleship, I believe a Yamato. And now, it is 3 versus 3. The enemy team is still ahead on points, but this game looks much more salvageable now, particularly if that destroyer hits the enemy Yamato with his torpedoes, which it looks like he is definitely going to do. That is going to bring the countdown to 3 versus 2 in the blue team's favor, and there it is. And here is why I say the Grossekurfürst is a very good late-game ship. We've got a very healthy Yamato out there who has fired at Frosty. His shells, miraculously, don't do a whole lot of damage there, and Frosty is able to angle in now. Still one enemy cruiser lurking around. I'm not quite sure what happens to him, but I can tell you he is going to be taken out, and that is going to leave this enemy Yamato as the last ship left alive on the enemy team. And this is where the GK excels. Now, Frosty doesn't have as many hit points right now as he might like to, but so long as he points his bow at this enemy Yamato, the legendary Japanese battleship isn't going to be able to do a whole lot to him, and indeed, the Yamato has selected a different target entirely. Another ship, another battleship on the blue team to the right off screen. But with this enemy Yamato being the last ship left alive on this enemy team, Frosty probably could perform another expert drive-by here, but frankly, why do that? You've got 188,000 damage. Why not go for the ram and bring that total up to 252,000 damage done with 4 kills? Nice, excellent game. Good use of patience and, biding your time until the opportune moment arises to strike. 3,500 base XP as well. Fantastic result from Frosty. Thank you for sending that in. If you would like to join my Discord for any reason, including sending me videos to use as community replays, the link is in the description below. But for now, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. That's all I've got, though, for today, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.